Hello and welcome to the NIFS presentation on mind moves, an introduction to brain fitness. I'm going to talk a little bit about brain fitness, how to make sure that we're using them and we're strengthening them. So today we'll cover parts of the brain, discussion on how and why we learn, brain games and puzzles that can help keep your mind sharp, as well as a short introductory to memory and neurology. So a quick lesson in anatomy. Our brains are very adaptable. Neuroplasticity, psychology, preventing dementia, and always learning. So we're constantly trying to continue to develop our brains, continue to utilize our brains, continue to prevent brain challenges, brain damage, those kind of things. So a quick anatomy lesson. Again, I don't want to go through and read all of them, but you can see large and small parts of the brain do a lot of different things: vision, memory, voluntary movement, motor, speech production, those kind of things. And continuing on, we have our brain made up of the cerebral cortex, hippocampus, cerebellum, and then some other ones, as well as the brain stem. Again, there's a lot more information on these different aspects, but we want to just give a kind of a quick overview. And then we have neurons that are consisted of dendrites, cell body, axon, and a terminal bulb. And this is how our brains traditionally fire. And then how we learn. So what we want to look at when we're learning. So learning is defined as the process of adding new information to the memory bank and making sense of the presented material by correlating the information. So you mentally reorganize and connect it with what you already know. So, we're constantly trying to do that, constantly trying to think deeper, think more, figure out how things match with other aspects. Motivations, why do we learn? So a lot of times it's personal advancement. I know Sil here does a great job at giving people information that will help, give them information on certain topics that personally they may be involved with. Self-improvement, stimulation, and escape, increasing your social relationships, and then cognitive interest. So the learning process, so we have experiencing, concrete experiences, reflecting, thinking, and applying. So this is Edgar Dale's cone of experience, learning methods. Again, I don't want to read through all of it, but you can see that you're going to, remember or retain certain percentages depending on how you learn. And again, this is just a generic observation. There's definitely people who are going to be a little bit more advanced in one than the other. But again, this is just kind of go off and see. Me personally, I always feel like hands-on workshops, participating, kind of figuring those out are a great way to learn. So learning styles: tactile learner, learn by touching and doing; visual learner, learn by reading or seeing pictures; and then auditory learner, learn by hearing and listening. So we all have different styles, we all have different techniques and abilities, and these are just ways that some people will learn easier than others. Brain games and puzzles is our next topic. So many people engage in brain games and puzzles because of the following. Most importantly, they're fun, way to keep your mind sharp. There are many varieties of games you can play. Again, there's something for everybody. They are easy to do. Purchase a book, puzzle, or game. A lot of things can also be done online on your computer. And then we also have Daycom, which is a resource through the computer, as well as other community resources that Michael or Jesus, one of those guys might be able to help. I believe right now there aren't any opportunities to borrow puzzles and games and some of those things, but most of you know that when the game room was up, there was always a puzzle going or a different game involved. General benefits, improve skills required for the specific game or puzzle that you're engaging in, and then potentially delay dementia by building up your cognitive reserve. So again, use it or lose it type of idea, type of thinking. The more that you're using it, the better off you're going to be in the long term, to continue to make sure that you have those cognitive abilities. Different types that you can, different types of games or puzzles that you can play. So number games, Sudoku, or math problems. What good is it? Computation skills, reasoning skills are two great examples. Word games, crosswords, riddles, Scrabble. Why again are they good? Long-term memory, word processing skills. So trying to think of what the next, word would be or letter would be in a crossword, so to think of. And then card and board games, jigsaw puzzles, bridge, Monopoly. I know we have a huge bridge community here, but all those are planning and reasoning, spatial skills, short-term memory, and then socially engaging as well. So again, going back to bridge, 20, 25 people sometimes playing. Great way to interact with people, great way to make sure you're keeping your mind sharp. And then again, we kind of go back to online resources. Again, the Daycom Brain Fitness, Brain HQ, Fit Brains by Rosetta Stone. So Rosetta Stone does a lot of stuff, I believe also with languages. And then why are they good? Challenge you in a variety of cognitive domains. Difficulty adjusting to your skill level. So kind of keeping you sharp, keeping you up to date. So recommendations, engage in brain games and puzzles often. People do them every morning, especially the crossword puzzle, Sudoku, things like that. A lot of times you can travel with them. So if you're going on a car trip, if you're going to be waiting in an office, something like that for a physician, great way to bring those along, 15, 20 minutes, and it'll help keep you sharp. Try different varieties. You don't always have to do the same thing. And then hopefully you can find one of them that you really enjoy doing, and that you can take with you or help pass time. And then our last section is going to be memory and neurology. So neurology is the branch of medicine that is concerned with the study and treatment of disorders of the nervous system. So when you think of a neurologist, that comes to mind. And again, they are a physician who treat disorders of the brain, spinal cord, and nerves, including but not limited to the following below. And again, I won't read through all of them, but most of you probably have spoken to a neurologist in your time. And you can see that a lot of things on here are extremely important to memory. So neurons in memory, an adult brain contains about 100 billion neurons with branches that connect at more than 100 trillion points. Scientists call this dense branching network a neuron forest. So kind of a fun little name. Signals traveling through the neuron forest form the basis of memories, thoughts, and feelings. And then neurons are the chief type of cell destroyed by Alzheimer's disease. So you can see a decline in cognitive ability with that disease. Types of memory. Psychologists often makes distinctions among different types of memory. There are three main distinctions: implicit versus explicit, decla- declarative versus procedural, and semantic versus episodic. So I'm not 100% familiar with all of those, but there are definitely types of memories that are created. And then to go into a little bit more information on the first two is sometimes information that inconsistently enters the memory affects thoughts and behaviors, even though the event and the memory of the event remain unknown. Such unconscious retention of information is called implicit memory. So an example you can see right here, somebody once visited a hotel in California with her parents. When she was 10 years old, she may not remember even having been there, but when she makes the trip later, she knows exactly how to get to the swimming pool. So an example of an implicit memory. And an explicit memory is conscious, intentional remembering of information. Remembering a social security number involves explicit memory. So kind of hearing it, knowing that you hear it, and then remembering it. Declarative versus procedural. So declarative memory is recall of factual information such as dates, word, faces, events, and concepts. Remembering the capital of France, the rules for playing football, and what happened in the last game of the World Series involves that kind of memory. And then declarative memory is usually considered to be explicit because it involves conscious, intentional remembering. Procedural memory is recall of how to do things such as swimming or driving a car. Procedural memory is usually considered implicit because people don't have to consciously remember how to perform the action or skills. Semantic versus episodic. Hopefully I'm saying those correctly. Declarative memory consists of two types: semantic as well as episodic. Semantic is recalling of general facts. Episodic is recall of personal facts. Remembering the capital of France and the rules of playing football uses semantic memory. Remembering what happened in the last game of the World Series uses episodic memory. So different stages: encoding, storage, and retrieval. Encoding, storing a memory trace. Perception leaves representation in memory. Storage would be retaining trace in memory. Latent, available for use. And then retrieval, recovering encoded trace from storage, or using available knowledge in cognitive action are the different stages of analyzing memory. And then what can you do to keep your brain fit for life? So support mental, intellectual well-being, exercise and eat right, learn something new, read and write, brain games and puzzles, social engagement, and spiritual practices. All will help benefit mental well-being. And then if you have any questions, please reach out to myself. Again, Garrett Morgan at sagewoodlcs.com is my email, or our phone number is 480-384-5818. And again, thank you all for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation on the brain and aspects to help continue to keep your brain sharp, healthy, and what all to do. Thank you, and again, have a nice day.